And you're telling me they don't want me to forage.
They don't want you to forage. Hey guys, Happy New Year. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm excited that it's a new. Well, okay. I have very complex feelings about the new year because, like, last year, I don't know if it's just me. Like, everybody I've talked to personally, 2024 was a hellstorm for me included. Never again. Really and truly, if you gave me $5 million to, like, go back to January 1st of last year and do that whole year over again, never in my life would I ever put myself through that shit. It's like, I. I had to, like, I found myself reliving, like moments from my childhood that I thought that I would never see again, like back to back to back. And it's like why did that year literally bring up everything traumatic that I could possibly have gone through beyond me. But all I know is that is in the past, that is last year, and now we're in 2025, and I'm like I'm trying to find it in me to have like optimism and like be like, new year, new me and all that stuff, but I don't think I can do it. Like I can't celebrate that. Like that was that no. And honestly, like I don't know. Like I have been doing a lot more work on myself or whatever, like especially coming into adulthood. I feel like I don't have a choice anymore. Nobody else is going to do it. I think that it's just the idea of being like excited for the year to come that is really just getting making me sick to my stomach. So I've been trying to practice this thing that I personally call optimistic pessimism, where it's like don't like last year I think I shot too high and I was I like this year is going to be the best ever because I believe it is going to be. Like, I tried to like vindicate myself and be like, life is what you make it. Sometimes, like life is what you make it, but sometimes the ingredients are not that great. They're not what it needs to be. And that's not my fault. Really and truly, like that, like it had to happen. I think it had to happen because like you don't choose where you grow up. You don't choose like the circumstances that you're given, but you do have to like, do something with them. Like even if they are the worst things possible, like you gotta thug it out. Yeah, I saw this thing on Pinterest. Being in your 20s is like realizing that the mask that you wore as in your childhood is just not gonna cut it, and that like honestly made a lot of sense. And I think that's why last year was so bad because I graduated college. I stepped out into the world as a fully like grown, educated woman. And I'm, like, am I doing a good job? No, but like, have you seen the economy? Like, I'm trying. Like we're getting there. Like you can't have everything in like that. And like hitting so many milestones, I think I thought that like it was just gonna be like a movie, and it was a movie, but that movie was Get Out. That movie was not. What I'm trying to think of like a good like coming of age kind of movie. Like I thought that it was gonna be Lady Bird, and I'd have my like happy ending. Maybe we're not at the end yet. Like maybe we have some time to pull this shit back around, but 2024 not it. The long story short. And so now that I know all the things that I did as a kid that like I needed to change, now that I have gotten that rude, rude awakening, I think that I am ready to go into this year a stronger person. But I'm not, I'm not, we can't forget that that happened. Like, I'm not just gonna be like, yeah, like, I'm so happy to like have learned some, like, I feel like a normal sense of gratitude about it, but I'm still like it's still like all this work and where is it getting me? Like, I don't know. I'm just not excited about like I just am not optimistic about anything. I think I'm becoming a realist again. Like what got me in the past was that I used to feel like I had to just like everything had to be like aligned. I had to see the proof that things were going to align for me before I did anything. And that's really like that's not the way to go if you want to improve in your life because improving isn't just about seeing results, it's about changing your mindset enough to not even need to see those results to know that you have those things. Like, if you're into manifestation and all that stuff, like, they say the key to manifestation is, like, first believing that you already have it. Um, And the science behind that is like there's this thing called the what is it? The law of giving and receiving, I think. Basically, you can only receive what you know how to give. If you want to be loved or to like find somebody, you have to be able to give love. Like you can't. It's not just gonna. Yeah. No, like it's not really not gonna like magically come to you if you don't believe you have it. Because when you don't believe you have it, you like separate yourself from that thing, whatever that thing is. You want to be rich, but you're in a lack poverty mindset, right? When you do get that money, it's not like you are going to like hold on to it so much that you're not going to like be able to multiply it and make it grow. It's like you're mentally holding yourself back from the thing that you want by believing that you don't have it or that you can never have it. You can't be that person. So it's like all that to say like everything starts with an identity switch. Like you have to believe that you are the type of person that can have those things before you can actually get them. This year I think I'm trying to work harder on not having to like depend on my surroundings to show me who I am. In the past, that was such a huge thing for me. It's like I felt like because I didn't see anybody that looked like me or who I wanted to be, that type of person just didn't exist, and I was crazy for trying to be something different. And that's just not the way to go. That's not the move. That's not the vibe. It's just really boring to live like that. So I'm not doing it anymore. And I don't care really, really, really. I think one thing that I have learned for sure from last year was that like it does not matter how kind you are to people, how much you cater towards them, how much you try to understand them. If they don't want you to succeed, they will do anything. Like it doesn't even matter who they are to you. Like if they're your friends, their family, they people at the end of the day are gonna care about themselves more. And as an empath, I suffer with understanding that like I can't be everything to everybody, and so now I'm gonna be nothing to nobody, nothing to anybody. Yeah, I literally cannot, I physically cannot care about anybody else's emotions more than my own anymore. Like, not to say that I'm gonna be like crazy and a villain and just like purposely like spite people. I will like a little bit, but like I think that it's just honestly it's healthy and like sometimes when you like obviously don't take this with a grain of salt because I am the type of person where I have overgiven. Like that was my habit. Overgiving is just like at some point it becomes self-betrayal and I'm not trying to do that anymore. But if you were the type of person that like doesn't have that overgiving problem, you're more of a taker. Don't take that advice. That it's not for you. I'm so, I'm just gonna be for real. Like yes, it is what it is. I think it's important to accept things as they are, but you can't forget that like they could always be better. Like if you want them to be better, you can find a way to be better. Like your energy and your attention is going to go to the things you believe and your mind like is mostly responsible for creating your reality. So if you are constantly like giving into these limiting beliefs that like I can't do this because I'm this type of person, I can't have this because it's just like it's not like nobody's done it before, like if these beliefs are limiting you, they're not serving you. And so you got to get rid of them somehow. Like you even if it takes being delusional. Like you have always been broke and like right now you're the brokest you've ever been in your life. Lie to yourself. Tell yourself you're rich and then see how that changes your behavior. Obviously, don't like go spending billionaire money when you don't have billionaire money, but like the light like think mentality. Once you change who you think that you are and like who you believe that you can be, you just like you put yourself in that mindset and you start thinking like that person. And when you think like that person, things around you slowly start to change. But you can't let that like change be what drives you. You have to let that like internal identity be the thing that drives you. Because like say okay, well this is an example. I um like now that I've started making YouTube videos, like for a while when I first started this channel, I was making a lot of videos and just posting random stuff, just to like get it to that place where the algorithm was gonna push it. And now that like I've gotten like some level of like like response, and as the chronic overthinker that I am, I'm falling into this pattern that I have where it has to be perfect. If like more people are gonna see it, then I have to like make it as perfect as possible. But like as I said in the intro video, that is literally the opposite of the philosophy of this channel. And that's part of why I made it like this, is because I know myself and I know that that's a tendency that I have that stopped me from making the art that I want to make in the past, is just like thinking that if it's not perfect, it's not worth anything. It's not, that's not true. That is not true. That is a lie. And that is a lie that I have picked up somewhere in the past that's like encouraged me to limit myself and my expression. That's a fear-based identity, and those aren't like, that's literally like the worst thing that you can do for yourself. That's not going to be you authentically expressing yourself. That's you operating from a lack mindset, like something maybe somewhere in your upbringing or the friends that you're around, you got the idea that you had to do things to survive only. Like the only things that were worth doing were the things that like were necessary. And like, yeah, in some cases you need to, like, your main priority is to survive. But the goal of being in that survival mode is to get yourself to safety. One thing that I've experienced as an immigrant is that like, if you don't know when to turn that switch off and start making decisions for your best future, you cannot create that future, because you continue to operate in like scare, this like idea that you're going to run out of this thing, and so you can't afford these luxuries, you can't afford the things that you want. But that makes you really depressed, doesn't it? Because like a life just full of living with the bare necessities because you think that that's still how things are, you can never like grow. You can't like let yourself have the things that you desired. Personally, I think it takes a balance of knowing what you need and then also making room for that desire. If you believe it, it's true to you. There's obviously limits to that, like pigs can't fly. You create the rules of your reality, and like even if those rules were not given to you, you decide whether or not you believe those things. If I had believed everybody in my past that made me feel like I was weird and I acted like I was a weird loser and that nobody would talk to, um, I probably would be that because I believe that about myself, and so I'm acting according to that. But I chose delusion instead, and I was like, everybody loves me and they want to talk to me, and like, now I'm like really cool. And like I don't have that problem anymore. Mostly. Another lesson that I that I really picked up from last year was you evolve or you repeat. I think the fact that I relived so many of my like the cycles that I never thought that I would see again from like middle school and high school and like college and all that stuff was because I didn't deal with those things when they happened. Like, I'm not gonna give you any examples because I don't want to relive it in this conversation. But long story short, it's like if you don't fix the things that put you in that cycle before, they're gonna keep showing up. They're gonna keep showing up, and you're gonna keep reliving it. Trauma is a thing that is not as easy to fix as like, like a bad habit. Like, oh, I don't make my bed in the morning. Like, it's not that easy to get over things like that. But like, you don't have to do everything in one day. You don't have to be Superman. I've been reading Atomic Habits with my friend Miriam. Shout out Miriam. What I've picked up from it so far is that like if you break things down into these little tiny like minuscule pieces, you can see the bigger picture way easier, and you also like show yourself that you don't need to get everything done in a day. It's more about consistency than it is like progress. I think that the most important part is just like showing up constantly and like making it part of a routine. The first time is always going to be the hardest when you do anything because your brain is learning it. But over time, as you repeat that action and you repeat that action, you get into the groove of it. Like it almost starts to come naturally because that's like it's like installing a program. Not to be like a nerd or anything, even though like y'all should know by now. The less you do it, the more space it takes up in your brain. But the more and more the more that you do it, the smaller it becomes until it's just like this background process almost like it comes like that. It goes the same for like, emotional learning too. Processing the things that like kept you from being who you wanted to be in the past. Like it is hard, but it is possible. And the fact that it is possible is way more important than the fact that it's hard. A lot of things are hard. Paying your bills is hard. Exercising is hard. Um, like I don't know, like talking to people. I hate talking to people. It's surprisingly enough, even though I talk a lot on this channel, I conversations scare me. But like I knew that I wanted to do the kind of job where I would interact with people. So like I had to put myself in the place where I talk to people so much that it doesn't even feel, well, I mean, like that I still don't like love it. But it's like now it comes easier to me because I've practiced. Everything is just practice. The more that you just throw yourself out there and try it, the more chances that you have to make it part of you, you know? Um, and yeah, that's really all I have to say on the matter. Happy New Year and oh, my mom's home. Happy New Year and yeah, uh, make it a good one. Or don't. Hey, I don't know.
Garbage.